Okay guys, welcome to Ragefire Chasm. And you'll see, I'm just going to go straight into action. I mean, we only have there's a 15-minute limit on YouTube. So our goal right now is to just show entire dungeons in that 15 minutes. So we'll show a lot of the trash in the beginning of our videos, and in the later half we'll have all our bosses. So, we've already started out. You've seen so a lot of the weaker trash, and right here is our first double pull.
Which we discover is much more challenging than we were expecting when we came into this instance.
I remember the instance pretty well. Not that well. I remember before we didn't have elites, and we didn't see anything that wasn't elite in here. So we're level 10, they're level 14, and they're really kicking our butts.
Yeah, and our plan, of course, is for me to be the tank, and as you can see, I'm sitting back here healing because the shield on the shaman just makes so much difference in the armor. It's not even funny. We just don't even compare as tanks right now. He's, I think, over 3 times the amount of armor.
Yeah, and the biggest problem we have with that is right now his druid doesn't have very much mana, and his heals are not efficient at all. So you can see he's already out, and I'm having to heal myself. And, this is just a pretty bad recipe. And we kept at it for quite a while. I think we were in here maybe an hour our first night.
Probably more than that.
Probably more than that. We tried a lot of different things. We jumped down. You can see there's enemies below us. And I think I actually fell in the lava more than once in that process.
I know I did once. I felt really smart as I realized I can't swim in it like I could at Molten Core.
Yeah, and it does set damage to us. I think it hits for 600, and neither of us have 600 health. That was pretty cool, and and coming up pretty soon you'll see us pull the first boss. We tried him 2 or 3 times actually, but there is no luck. You'll just see that we get wiped out pretty quick. He's got 2 allies.
Yeah, the 2 allies alone were quite a challenge for us when we were doing double pulls. So when you throw on the boss in there, well, you'll see it's just total ownage. And we tried all sorts of sneaking around and stuff, and in the end it just came out to it was too much for us at the moment.
After this, we'll move on to our second attempt, and you can see that we think we came back 5 levels higher. So
yeah, so this is us. We came up from behind since we had jumped down. We were walking up the path, and oh hey, there's Mr. Boss. And now we've come back after gaining 5 more levels. Here, Charles has done his fire extinguisher quest, and we've spent the hours walking and dying our way back into the instance, and we're doing a 3 pull successfully now.
It's still pretty crazy at this point. You notice from before to now our abilities aren't that drastically different or anything. We have a few more. I have another shock spell, and I have Ghost Wolf form that made getting back here a lot better.
And I now have bear form, so now hopefully I can make an okay tank, although even in bear form, Charles's armor is still better than mine thanks to that shield.
And as I recall, my health was also higher than yours, but still you can't really heal at all. So we're for the most part doing things with him tanking and me healing. But we tried a lot of things for the first boss since we hadn't had a successful boss fight yet. We spent a bit of time with Ogleflint, the first boss we're about to come up to, and
otherwise known as Oglogloglogflint.
We think that might be how it's supposed to be pronounced. And he gave us a lot of trouble because he's got the two allies, and you can see right here Brian runs in
and dies.
Yeah,
it's pretty impressive.
He does pretty fast. That's it. So what we ended up doing is I started pulling the guy. I have the shield and the armor and the health, and that worked a lot better for us. We had one pull where we managed to kill the melee guy, and then our next pull, I think we screwed up pretty badly. And this pull, we just had the shaman and the boss, and it ended up being pretty good. I mean, it'd be nice if we had killed all three of them in a single pull. That'd be a better show, but I guess we kind of suck.
Yeah, now that we're level 15, it's definitely getting doable at this point, but it's still a little bit beyond us. We're now at the same level as Flint, but we do manage to get it here with just the two guys out.
And I know while we were doing the encounter, we started to pay attention to some of the skills and stuff. He's got, I believe he had a cleave, and so if we were both standing close to him, or I think we had to be in front of him, he starts hitting us both, and that really hurts us. And then the other problem we have is Brian in cat form pulled aggro off me really, really quickly, so just around here, we decided to let him take over, and then he just goes bear form. He can handle one mob just fine. And
yeah, my cat form's rogue abilities just are way too much aggro. And it is surprising and kind of happy to see that at these first instances we're already seeing the concepts like the cleave, which you have to worry about. So we're already starting to train low levels for the future rating, which WoW didn't do previously.
And here you can see that we do manage to pull them off on this pull, and it was pretty nice. We get our first blue item, which our tank picked up, and then we get to move on to bigger and better things.
And so now we're clearing trash around what we thought was the second boss. We realized later on that we had forgotten he's actually the final boss, and during this I realized that my Entangling Roots ability actually does something. Back when we were level 10, I'd cast it and it was like a total joke. But now I actually get to utilize it. You'll quite frequently in these videos seeing one of the mobs running up later on. Or sometimes we even manage split pulls thanks to that ability, which is really nice while we're doing these bigger groups. And so we go ahead and we go around and clear these. As you can see, we're getting close to our levels, so we go ahead and decide to level on these after our experience with the first boss, figuring to get a bit better. And we also thought that they would pull pull with the boss, but we realized afterwards that they don't.
Yeah. Definitely didn't want to just pull the boss and die. We wanted to have good attempts, and we saw there was quite a few patrols in this room, and this pull here, I put this in to show that we aren't like terribly good. I accidentally got an extra mob here, and we were doing fine when he picks it up. I can still heal him up, but then you can see the Entangling Roots wears off on that cultist that comes in, and there's just too much for me to heal through at this point. And so we had pulls like this when we were clearing the dungeon, and ended up dying quite a few times.
Yeah, but we managed to persevere through with very few deaths, though. This is definitely one of them here.
Alright guys, you notice I got this little knight symbol next to my mini-map, and some of it's yellow. This is not because we died too much inside the dungeon. This is because we were fools and we forgot to take our gear off before we entered Ogremar. It's a fairly hefty mistake, and it really caused us to not be able to finish this encounter this time. You can see we did really, really well, and we didn't get another good pull like this while we were here the first night we were trying. We get him down to maybe like 8% health, and then Brian dies, and there's just no way. I have no mana. I have no way to beat this guy on my own. I wish we could have done it in one night, but we ended up coming back another night. But we did manage to finish off the rest of the bosses while we were here. Alright, you notice I have these bars sitting across my screen for some reason, and there's a pretty good reason for that. It's an add-on I used when I played a Warlock before. It's called Dot Timer, and I'm using it here to keep track of my Earth Shield that I put on the Druid here. And so when it's low on the count, it shows me the count on the add-on. I can just click on him, refresh it, and that really helps me keeping him from dying. So
Wait.
Not proud of you anymore.
Check out those awesome symbols I'm making.
It does look pretty cool. Alright, now back to being a little bit serious. No, we don't want to be too serious. That'd be a little bit boring. You notice that I just kind of let the druid die there, and it turns out that wasn't such a bad thing. I get to be really awesome for the next like 10 minutes, and I could have actually finished this boss off myself. We kind of segment through it. I'm sitting here healing myself on my own, and the druid zones himself back in and walks his way back to the boss. And this is like pretty much completely ridiculous. I just have to say that this boss was a lot easier than I thought he would be. We'd been really careful when we pulled him, and we only actually got him in one of his 2 ads. There's actually another guy, we didn't actually show the footage of it, but there's one more ad, and he's just kind of over minding his own business, left us alone while we managed to finish this boss off.
And now, Bazalon. We just kind of rush right through this guy. He doesn't pose any challenge whatsoever. You can see me transforming out to throw on my thorns to speed it up a little bit more even. It's kind of disappointing after the previous fights in this.
Alright, so we're back. This time we took off our gear before zoning in, and we're showing the first fight again. This time we kill all 3 of them because we decided not to suck. And we went ahead and had the tank as well. This time I wasn't doing that. It was a nice welcome change.
And it's actually starting to work out now that we've kind of gained in levels a bit and gained a few abilities here and there. Finally, Taragaman the Hungerer. I bring him up against a wall here since he does this knockback here and there, throws you in the air. Don't want to fall down into the lava. This boss is pretty serious. You'll see my health there, and just single hits go down to almost a quarter health easily all the time.
And we notice, aside from him hitting like a tank, he has quite a few abilities. He has that ability. It looks kind of like a flame strike. It doesn't leave a damage over time, but I think that's what was knocking him back. It was possible for me to counter that spell. I had a Wind Seer, I think it is, and I could counter his spell, but I was too focused on healing to be able to switch between the two. If I let go of the druid for even a moment, he could just so easily die. But we get through this fight, we get our achievement, and that is it, guys. We'll see you in the Dead Mines.
Dead Mines. Dead Mines.